In delving into the grim subject of medieval torture devices, the introduction serves as a vital entry point, setting the scene for a time when such instruments played a significant societal role. At its core, this concept revolves around understanding the historical context that cultivated the use of torture devices during the medieval era. These instruments were tools specifically designed to inflict pain or extract confessions, often reflecting the prevailing legal and moral codes of the time. The importance of introducing this scene lies in its ability to ground the horrific tales of torture devices in a broader social and historical landscape. In medieval Europe, justice systems were rudimentary and science was nascent. Torture was often justified as a necessary means of establishing truth or maintaining order, influenced by the prevailing belief systems and the Church's imposition of moral rectitude. This emphasis on understanding context allows an audience to appreciate how these brutal methods were not merely products of sadism, but rather complex artifacts of their era. Two archetypal examples that embody this scenario are the Iron Maiden and the rack. The Iron Maiden, a tall, coffin-like structure lined with spikes, is often cited as a quintessential torture device engineered to inflict both psychological terror and physical agony. Meanwhile, the rack, a device on which victims were stretched, was notorious for dislocating limbs and extracting confessions through excruciating pain. These examples illustrate the lengths to which medieval societies would go to maintain control and elicit compliance. There is substantial debate regarding the appropriateness of interpreting these devices through a modern lens. Some scholars argue that such devices reflect a profound inhumanity of past societies, while others contend they were pragmatic tools reflective of the limited knowledge and fierce dogmas of their time. Critics also challenge romanticized or sensationalized portrayals of these devices, suggesting that not all were as widely used or effective as often depicted. Connecting the introduction of medieval torture devices to the broader discussion opens avenues for exploring the evolution of justice, the interplay between fear and power, and the ways in which these ancient practices influence modern understandings of human rights and ethical treatment. By situating torture devices within their historical framework, audiences gain an enriched perspective on the intersection of medieval culture, law, and the dark creativity that shaped these gruesome artifacts. This setup not only captivates interest, but also fosters a deeper reflection on the human capacity for cruelty and the enduring quest for justice. In medieval society, torture was not only a tool for extracting confessions and punishing criminals, but also a method to maintain control and enforce the societal norms of the time. Historically, torture served as a grim reflection of the political and social hierarchy, frequently utilized by authorities to consolidate power and deter opposition. By instilling fear, torture acted as a mechanism of deterrence, ensuring compliance among the populace who lived under the constant threat of gruesome repercussions for disobedience or heresy. The role of torture in medieval society is integral to understanding the era's broader cultural and judicial systems. It underscores the intersection of law, religion, and governance, highlighting how torture was perceived as a legitimate and necessary practice in the pursuit of truth and order. It offers a window into the medieval mindset, illuminating the lengths to which authorities would go to preserve social stability and suppress dissent. A notorious example of medieval torture is the rack, a device designed to systematically dislocate the limbs of a victim, causing unbearable pain. The rack was emblematic of the medieval approach to interrogation, often resulting in false confessions extracted under duress. Another infamous device was the Iron Maiden, a sarcophagus-like enclosure lined with spikes. Though its existence is sometimes debated by historians, it remains a potent symbol of medieval cruelty and the extent to which authorities would psychologically and physically intimidate individuals. Supporters of medieval torture, mainly contemporary to that era, argued its effectiveness in extracting confessions and punishing wrongdoers. They believed that the macabre spectacle served to dissuade criminal activities and reinforce societal norms. However, the concept of torture is fraught with ethical implications and controversies, both historically and in modern retrospectives. Critics argue that the inhumanity and unreliability of information obtained through such methods highlight the moral failings of employing torture. Furthermore, there is considerable debate around the accuracy of records and accounts of these devices, with some suggesting that their fearsome reputations may have been exaggerated or mythologized over time. The historical context of torture in medieval society intertwines deeply with the broader study of medieval torture devices. By probing the justification and implementation of torture, we gain insight into the values and fears that shaped medieval communities. Understanding this dark facet of society allows for a more nuanced appreciation of the period's judicial practices and the cultural legacy of such inhumane methodologies that echo through history. Types of torture devices, an overview, delves into the chilling array of instruments devised during the medieval era to inflict pain, extract confessions, or punish individuals. These devices are defined by their cruel ingenuity, designed to target the human body's vulnerabilities and instill fear. The gruesome truth about these devices is not merely in their physical impact, but in their emblematic representation of a darker period of human history, reflecting a time when brutality was systematized and normalized for social and political control. The significance of exploring these devices lies in their ability to provide insight into the societal structures and beliefs of the medieval period. Understanding the types of torture devices is crucial to grasping how power dynamics were enforced and how judicial systems operated under a veneer of legitimacy while committing acts of sheer brutality. This examination not only reveals historical truths, but also fosters critical reflection on how certain ideologies can justify inhumane acts. Two notable examples of medieval torture devices include the Iron Maiden and the rack. The Iron Maiden was a sarcophagus with spikes on its interior, designed to impale victims when closed. Though its existence has been debated and romanticized, it serves as a powerful symbol of the era's inventive cruelty. The rack, on the other hand, was a more definitively utilized device, stretching victims' bodies to excruciating limits to elicit confessions or punish. These examples highlight the paradox of medieval justice, where legal processes coexisted with horrific violations of human rights. Opinions supporting the exploration of these devices argue that understanding our past is essential for ensuring a more humane future. Recognizing the extent of human cruelty serves as a reminder of the moral and ethical responsibility societies hold to protect individual rights and dignity. However, challenges and controversies arise from romanticizing or sensationalizing these devices, reducing their historical context to mere entertainment or horror narratives. This understanding of torture devices connects deeply with other aspects of the topic by framing the broader socio-political climate of the medieval era. It influences how we interpret the intersection of law, morality, and power during that time, and it prompts questions about how such practices could have been justified. This knowledge encourages a deeper examination of historical narratives and challenges us to consider the lingering legacies of such practices in modern judicial and political systems. The term detailed examination of notorious devices refers to an in-depth exploration of specific torture devices that gained infamy during the medieval era for their cruel and inhumane methods of inflicting pain. These devices were designed with the intent not just to punish, but also to serve as a deterrent for criminal behavior and dissent, often reflecting the brutal justice systems of their time. Understanding these gruesome tools is significant as it sheds light on the darker aspects of human history and the extremes of human cruelty, providing context for the evolution of human rights and modern-day laws against torture. Two prominent examples of such devices are the Iron Maiden and the rack. The Iron Maiden, often depicted as a sarcophagus lined with spikes on the inside, would enclose a victim, inflicting agony without causing immediate death. Its design symbolized the art of prolonging suffering, illustrating the medieval fixation with blending psychological terror with physical torment. The rack, on the other hand, was a simple yet effective mechanism for stretching the human body, dislocating joints, and inducing unbearable pain. It became synonymous with extracting confessions, regardless of their veracity, highlighting its role in the judicial procedures of the time. Opinions supporting a detailed examination of these devices argue that it is crucial for our understanding of historical justice systems and societal norms. This scrutiny serves as a reminder of past atrocities, offering lessons on the necessity of humane treatment and due process in legal frameworks. However, this topic is not without controversy. Some people argue that focusing too minutely on such gruesome devices can sensationalize or fetishize human suffering, detracting from more productive discussions on historical progress and current human rights issues. There's also a debate about the accuracy of some historical accounts, as myths and exaggerations have intertwined with factual history. This creates challenges in separating fact from legend. The examination of notorious torture devices is closely tied to broader discussions of medieval culture, governance, and religion. Such exploration can lead to insights into the balance of power, the role of fear in governance, and the evolution of civic structures. It influences the main topic by providing a stark contrast to contemporary values and illustrating the pivotal changes in societal norms over centuries. By studying these devices, one can appreciate the progress made in human rights and understand the enduring necessity to protect them against any form of regression.